Hey, we are back. 7 minutes late this time. I'm kind of dragging ass today. Okay, well, that's all
how late
right.
we can push it.
Yeah, well, what's up, Internet? Come on in, sit your butt down, grab some popcorn and a drink because it's time for another episode of BowtieUp Live. And as you can see, we've got not 3 but 4 shining, smiling faces here for you today to edutainment your face off. So I'm going to start with the fellow on my left.
Hey, the pointing trend continues.
Right. Yeah, as we continue to try to learn to say, good job. Who are you?
Thank you for the mic, Lee. My name is Alex McDowell, and I am president and founder at A3 Innovation and partner at Real Impact Solutions. But much more important than I are the 2 gentlemen below me, and starting with the one and only returning BowtieUp Live guest, we have Mr. Matthew Perkins. Take it away. Pass the mic down.
How is everyone today? My name is Matt Perkins. I'm the founder of InfinityStreamers.com. Alex is doing some amazing work to make sure that we have a phenomenal launch on May 1st. We're doing some really crazy, innovative things. I don't want to give away too much right now, but essentially we're building what we are branding as the Edutainment Network. Thank you, Lee Raleigh. Thank you, Lee Raleigh.
Hey!
Not mine, but whatever.
And up next, we have the enigmatic. Damn, I'm bad at this too, Alex.
It's hard, right? You guys see what I go through.
Yeah.
Adam down here.
Oh, yeah. It confuses me every time. I am the confused and ever so wonderful Adam Sinkus. I am the COO of the Elevator Agency. We are a digital marketing firm. We focus on building fully custom web pages and a fully custom digital experience for your business to elevate it to the next level.
Nice.
Okay, and I just have to say what's been on probably everybody's mind. Adam, what is your favorite web development platform?
I am a WordPress junkie.
Okay, I don't know if we're going to get along.
I know. I like I like the back end of it because it's a bit more accessible for our clients, so that they can do some of their own maintenance on their website in the form of putting out quick content and things like that. So
it's got good and bad. I do love the accessibility aspect of it, but I hate how everything's layered on top of each other, just causing it to get so slow. Now, I might forgive you. How do you recommend that WordPress websites are hosted?
So we actually have our own hosting company. So we host through our own servers, and I prefer it's always best to be dedicated. So
okay,
always best.
Back in my good graces. We're cool now. It's all good.
Be dedicated, but if you're just not there in your business, there's solutions for that. We really focus on, like, once we design a web page, we actually really run it through the ringer and spend a lot of time cleaning it up as well. And just really, simplifying those layers that you're talking about as much as possible. It just, that due diligence in itself makes a huge difference. And it's what a lot of website developers miss, that makes some of these WordPress sites and Wix sites and some of the other sites so slow.
And if you want a really great example, GoDaddy's site builder is probably one of the worst and most egregious offenders. It's a very easy way to tell that someone's going down really quick on the internet. Wix sites are interesting. Wix actually recently got the ability to incorporate backend files, for those of you who are wondering. So now you can actually add some JS onto Wix, making it a little bit more accessible. Of course, you've got WordPress. And out here in the audience, we're going to do a couple of awesome things. We're going to stop the show and say hello and then answer some questions. And Adam, we're going to have to get into some tech talk because I love it. And I'm glad that you're here, especially as a WordPress fanatic, because we can have some good discussion about that. So jumping in very first would be Mrs. Samantha Childers saying, nice to see everyone. Sam, hello. Hope you're having a great day out there, probably in the living room. This is my lovely wife. She's awesome. Shout out to Sam. Charlie Powers says, hey, you beautiful people. Hey, you beautiful person yourself, man. How's it going? Hope you're having a tremendous day. Adam says, huzzah, Sam and Charlie, and I'll second that. Huzzah. Y'all are great. And then Charlie says, what do you use, Alex? If you're talking about web development platform, my most favorite thing recently has been Webflow, just because it's a great development platform for designers and developers alike. So it allows you to control all the development aspects that would normally go into HTML and CSS, but also has the usability of a drag and drop interface and the like interoperability of having code export, which is really rare. So you can design it on Webflow, export it, and host it somewhere else. They've just got a really good program coming on. They're not too expensive. They're actually pretty reasonable with a lot of their pricing. So I always recommend those for people who want a little bit more control. And that's for the more advanced people that really want to drill into what's going to make something special about a website and control every aspect, as opposed to something that you just want to start out with. Because like for those of you that are just barely starting out, one thing that I really champion for is you can, for $12 to buy a domain, and then $6 a month to have an email address, you can have a completely free and secure website through Google Sites. So business email through G Suite, get your domain, and then you can host your domain on Google Sites. It's secure, completely free to you. So there's no excuse for you not having a website. So huzzah to the internet, guys. We've come a long way, haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
The days of keyword stuffing are behind us.
No more AOL discs piled up on the desk.
Oh, no. Those were classic. Okay, so from what I understand, guys, we have some really cool topics today surrounding connectivity, culture, communication, collaboration, remote working, and everything that is fun with this new connection economy. Shout out Lee Rowley for coming up with that we are part of. So very first topic on the ticker, let's talk creating e-culture. Adam, as our esteemed new guest, you can take the reins on this one, pal. Tell us what you think about creating e-culture, how we can do it, who it can help, and what we can do.
Yeah, so, as a workforce, we've been forced into a space that's totally different than what we're used to. You walk around the office, you have conversations, and so that changes the whole dynamic of how we create cultures. And really, it comes down to, in my mind, how we're communicating with people, right? So I don't know about you, but Zoom meetings are atrociously tiring at this point. And so, that is still really the best way to get that face-to-face interaction. But there's other little things we can do in our communication that really help to drive an effective culture within your company and within your team, right? And so first things, outside of just the traditional, hopping on Zoom, right, is and thank you, Matthew Perkins and crew, Infinity Streamers, for introducing me to the platform. Is we have actually set up in my team, we're a fully remote team, we've set up a virtual office. So we quite literally have on the remote platform a virtual office that we can go to. We hold meetings there, we hang out there all day. We chat with our clients on there, so way better than Zoom. I actually have like an office space on there, right? So if I'm meeting with my clients, I can just pop on. Absolutely awesome. Changes the dynamic of working remotely, because I go to the office every morning via a website, but I go to the office every morning. So it starts to build that semblance, right? And that is really cool. And then the fact is, like, if I need to have a conversation with my partner, Josh, literally I can walk across the office and go to his office and have a quick conversation with him, right? And we're not chasing each other down through 65 emails and things like that. So that has been a huge part of our team, really keeping that culture alive and building that culture. The other things is stopping non-critical communication, right? We've all get the emails and that are that are just totally redundant, talking about the same meeting 65 times. So stopping that unnecessary conversation so that we can focus on the things that are important, right? So so emails can be a little bit longer in form. I'd rather see 5 or 6 emails throughout the day from my team that are longer in form and cover 3 topics than see 65 emails that interrupt me all day, right? So what that does is that then creates more opportunities for me during the day to reach out for more genuine purposes. How are you doing today? Is there anything I can help you with today? And so as a result, you change the dynamic of what that communication tool is really about. So
those are really great tips on improving some of the culture. And just to kind of run through those again for the audience, we were talking about how to create a virtual office experience, if you will, to get yourself ready for the day. So Adam uses Remo, which Matthew Perkins, shout out, dog, for you on the line, that you did introduce all of us to Remo, which is really cool as a platform, because it does allow you to have that literal virtual office. He's got it in his background here, and we can see, I mean, you can just add people in different places, have those kind of like breakout sessions. You can have your own little sponsored room that you can hang out and chill out in. So it makes collaboration, especially for larger teams, really, really seamless and easy. And then also we were talking about, and Adam had brought up, is just kind of keeping in mind non-critical communication within your organization. So don't get caught up in the responding 100 times to the same email about the same meeting, but do things that are going to actually build purpose and drive value for what you're doing in a day-to-day. So getting things done is all about those small, specific, smart steps that you take to get things done. And the more you eliminate the time-wasting stuff, the better off you're going to be. Now, Matthew, you, my friend, as the ranking Remo expert here, I know are a big champion for creating an e-culture. So walk us through, brother, what you got on your mind and how we can really foster and create this culture electronically.
Absolutely. And I really like Adam's point about the longer emails and putting more substance into each communication to limit the numbers of communication. And I definitely see how that's effective for a company that's already established and ready to go. It's how I choose to communicate. If you've ever seen my comments on a post, I pretty much hit that 1250 every time, because I want to get the message across. And it's important not to have this kind of small talk situation going on that wastes the whole day. I will say, as a startup, I have 3 business partners, and we work in Remo, we work in events planning, and we work at, they're all 2 out of the 3 are Infinity streamers. And so what we've been doing is using our day for the kind of business and meetings and pitch meetings and explanation meetings, tours, and things of that nature. Every single night from about 10 p.m. midnight till about 4 to 6 in the morning, we literally sit in Remo and kind of bounce back and forth between building that culture with each other and understanding each other's personalities and how our team dynamic, molding our team dynamic for the future, and actually planning stuff for the business. So it's really fun to be talking about hot dogs and Doritos and like just the most random things. And then we might blast off into 30 or 40 minutes of getting an event up and ready for the next week and what we should do, how we should target it. Then we're back talking about our cats or our favorite car or whatnot. So I think it's really important, especially in a startup culture or for your individual teams in your business, to kind of have that relaxed time to build a personal connection with each other. Because it's great to know that Bob works across the hall and we're all at the same company and all on the same team. But if I don't really know Bob, I might not be as prone to go the extra mile when Bob needs something, even when Bob doesn't ask. Let's say I know Bob has an event with his child the next day at their school, but he also has to get this work done before then, and so on and so forth. If I know Bob and I have that personal connection with Bob, I'll be more likely to tell him I'll take care of this project so he can make his school event with his kids. And that's going to make Bob a happier person with his work-life balance. And he's going to bring more to the table on the business when he is there for business hours. So as a company, I think that's important when you're establishing your culture, is to get those personal connections between your employees and and yourself and your management. So.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Matthew, for those thoughts. And next up, we'll have Lee giving us his thoughts on creating culture. But first, we've got to stop the show and say hello to a couple of our tremendous audience members joining us today, starting with Kevin McDowell saying, huzzah, huzzah, Kevin. How's it going, brother? Hope you're having a great day today. Christopher Nesbitt jumping in saying, hello, everyone. Hey, Chris, BowtieUp Live veteran over there. Thank you for joining us. Looking forward to having you again and seeing what you have to offer today. We are talking about culture, communication, collaboration, and everything that is technology. So we definitely have some cool things planned for you today. Now, Lee, why don't you walk us through some of the ways that you've experienced or that you would recommend trying to build and foster this e-culture?
Well, I love Adam's point about condensing communications into several longer communications throughout a day, as opposed to the little micro communications that we tend to have that Pavlovian response to. We got to answer that phone every time it dings. So every time that happens and somebody sends us a message, which may or may not even be relevant to us right now, we're getting pulled out of our work, out of our flow. So I love the idea of structuring things into 2 or 3 communications or mini meetups, whatever. If that's being done in text, I would encourage you to keep in mind that the other people reading this don't have a whole lot of time. And so, when I get something, it's a big block of text. It's just like, yeah, it's come to our attention to words, no, all right. And I'm less likely to actually absorb the information because your mind's like, no, later. So, bullet points, effective subheadlines, structuring things for easy readability. Those things go into making sure that the communications you're putting out there actually are absorbed and assimilated into your e-culture.
So would you say then that brevity truly is the soul of wit?
Absolutely.
So what?
Sure, why not?
And Lee, I am probably one of the worst offenders about those super long emails. I have a really bad habit of sending just incredibly long messages because I have a lot to say. So how would you advise us to kind of trim that down and to really make more effective headers and make more effective communication for ourselves, especially those of us who are in slightly more complicated or technical positions, and we have a lot of words that we can say? How do we choose the right ones?
All right. Well, you know what? Matthew, go ahead. I get the pick me. Yeah, you know what? I'll defer to Matthew on this one.
Do you get the sense that I had just a little something to add?
Maybe. Yeah. Take it away.
I would love to hear your answer as well, because it will be much better than mine. However, one thing that I had thought while you were making your retort about the longer emails and words, something I've been experimenting with recently and having some success is using both voice and or video messages.
Yes.
Which nowadays, a picture is worth 1,000 words, but for whatever reason, you can blast off a 3-page email, or you can send out a 1.5-minute quick video or voice message that gets all of that information across.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I love voice and video. My one complaint with that is that I don't have a whole lot of time in the day. And so if I have 7 voice messages that are 2.5 minutes long, does somebody want to tell me how long I have to spend listening to those freaking voice messages?
Right.
And as a ranking
copywriter, not a
guy,
mathematician.
yeah, like, man, it's so distracting. I love y'all's voice messages, but
yeah,
try to keep it to a minimum.
And with Loom and some of these tools, you have the potential to do the really long ones too. Which, if you're the type of person who likes to expound, that can get a little tedious, and you better be okay with sounding like a chipmunk, because I'm going to put you on 2x speed through the whole thing.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Sorry, can't take it. Mm-mm. If it's longer than 1.5 minutes, you're on chipmunk mode.
So I've got a 3.5 minute video that I was about to put out, but I'll just save myself the time and 2x it and chipmunk myself away.
I love it.
No, I was going to say with the brevity of the email, it's taking it's almost taking like an SEO stance to it, right? So Think about the keywords or the key messages that you want to put in there. Keep your sentences brief. Use your white space, and clearly separate ideas.
So, and I'm so glad that you brought up SEO, Adam, because it's something that we all need to be aware of, and we all need to be doing at a basic level.
Yep.
And it's going to help us a lot in our business. So SEO, for those of you who do not know, Adam, I will let you explain this one. Just so you know, I want so badly to go on a tech rant, but please, you are the guest. The right is yours.
Yeah. So in the basic sense, SEO is search engine optimization. It's a way of looking at content where you prioritize keywords, short phrasing, and easily readable content for your search engines to basically be able to scan them and rank them. So
how does that help me? What does ranking me do?
Yeah, so ranking means that, well, let me ask you this question. When was the last time you went to like the 4th page of Google to look for anything?
Actually, quite frequently, because I do a lot of client research, but I'm a bad example of that.
Right? Yeah, I would fathom to guess that you and I are the exception to the rule.
Oh, yeah.
But most people, if they get to the 2nd page, means that they are searching really hard for something really particular.
And to throw numbers behind that, studies have shown that it's around 90% of traffic is captured on that 1st page.
Yeah.
So once you get to the 2nd page, you only have the possibility of 10% of people that are searching for that to even be able to see you and to find you whatsoever.
So that means that, really what it comes down to, that means that you have to have the keywords that people are looking for in their content, and you need to be better than you need to be in those top 10 sites that are actually using those keywords. And there's a lot to the Google algorithm that goes into it, but keyword frequency, where it's in the article or the piece of content, how it's used in your titles and your headers in the article is a big play in it as well. And then also another big piece is length. And this is something I think a lot of people overlook, is the length of the article. And really, I found personally the sweet spot that we get a lot of good read through on and really get a good flow of traffic all the way to the bottom of the article is between 12 and 1,500 words. That seems to be the sweet spot. Every time we push past that 1,500 word mark, it seems to be a little bit long for people.
And that's also something important to keep in mind about any sort of hard numbers regarding article length, guys, is that it really does depend on your industry too. When you're talking about, article length for SEO purposes is completely different than what your sales page should look like for conversion purposes. SEO is visibility. The visibility efforts that you do for your website are not necessarily going to be the same as the sales aspects and the conversion metrics of your website. So just make sure that you're focusing on that. Now, when it comes to SEO, Adam, I know we had kind of talked about keywords, but how does one thing we should talk about is intent versus keyword searches on Google. So explain the difference between an intent search versus a keyword search and how that can help the audience understand what kind of keywords to even be putting in their content to be found.
So I'm going to divert this. We're going this way. Up to you, only because in my business, I am the operations guy.
Gotcha.
I make sure everything gets done. I know enough about this to be really dangerous, and I know what to look for in articles, but I will let you give the technical explanation.
Yeah, so I had to get techie with it. This is one of the things that I was just having this conversation literally last night with one of my partners who's in one of my business partners. They're one of my clients. They're in printing, and they have a Shopify website. They add a lot of products on there. So their products need to be visible on the internet. How many of you out there, and raise your hand when you are hearing this, just drop a me or whatever. How many of you guys have seen The Tiger King on Netflix? And then how many of you guys have searched for anything Tiger King related on a search engine? Anyways, you'll realize why I asked this in just a minute. But this printing partner of mine, we were working with her, and she had a shirt that was based off of the Tiger King, and it was this Joe Exotic 2020 shirt, basically saying "Elect Joe Exotic 2020." Ha, hilarious, wonderful. But the title of the shirt was Joe 2020. So when you think about what the title does in relation to a search, someone would have to be searching for Joe 2020 for your t-shirt to appear, and for somebody to actually find organically, meaning you don't have to pay for it, that t-shirt. That's going to shrink the number of people that are even available to find your product online. So now I'm going to go back to that question I asked you guys earlier and explain my nefarious reasoning behind it. If you raised your hand on searching for the Tiger King, then if this printer transitioned the title of this shirt to Joe Exotic 2020 t-shirt, the Tiger King, Netflix original, you would be able to find that t-shirt, potentially, if we did our job right, when you're searching for the Tiger King online. You no longer have to search Joe 2020. Instead, you can search Joe Exotic, you can search 2020, you can search t-shirt, you can search the Tiger King. So when Google is looking at these searches that you're making and you're searching for the Tiger King t-shirt, you are not necessarily searching for the keyword of a t-shirt. Notice how when you make that search, you're going to have products appear at the top of the page. You have those products appear because Google knows your intent. You intend to buy a t-shirt. That is the meaning behind your search. You are not searching for things that have a keyword of t-shirt. You're not looking how to make a Tiger King t-shirt. You want to buy a Tiger King t-shirt. And the search engine understands that. That's intent searching. Intent searching is a way of looking at the customer's search pattern to determine their intent of what they want to find from the result to optimize the conversion of that particular item. So by doing these small things and thinking about what is someone going to be searching for, what question are they asking Google, where do I want to be found? You are going to then be able to structure the title or the description and the keywords of that product into manipulating, almost convincing, let's just say convincing the search engine to display your result when you are asked to do so. So Google now understands that your product is a t-shirt that was made in 2020, so it's current, and it's about the Tiger King, which is a Netflix special, and it's Tiger King 2020. So congratulations. You have now opened your t-shirt up to the entire internet just by examining customer intent, as opposed to maybe, hopefully, possibly getting a result on Joe 2020, which quite frankly, if they're searching that with the presidential elections coming up, they're going to get Joe Biden. I'm sorry. So that's the technical side behind it. And I hope I didn't get too techie. Try to keep it simple, guys. But that's my soapbox on intent searches for the day.
Yeah, no, I love your tech, Alex. I could literally listen to you go on for an hour about the tech.
Dude, I love tech. It's just my thing. Like, I just love talking about it. I'm like, everything that you do, if you do it purposefully, you can drive revenue with it. Everything on the internet, like it contributes to the goal or it doesn't. If it contributes to the goal, it's making you money. If it doesn't contribute to the goal, it's not making you money. It's that simple. It's my job to make you money with tech. I just happen to be really good at making you that money with tech. So we contribute a lot to the goal. It seems simple. I don't know.
No, I love it. I wanna like mention about inbound versus outbound, right? Because right now we're talking about SEO, and SEO is an inbound channel. And for those of you that don't know the difference between inbound and inbound marketing means they come to you, they find you typically in an organic fashion to purchase or your services, your product. Outbound is, the traditional cold call, seeking out people to actually buy your services based on a qualification method. And so outbound is a great short-term strategy in general. You can definitely make sales. There's sales guys that have been making plenty of money through all the years of sales in the outbound channels. But if you can figure out a way to leverage your business on inbound channels, you will have so much more stable income because it builds in a different way because people find you going back to what you said, Alex, purposefully, right? And so it builds a better interest, and it's easier to convert those inbound leads. So,
and you've got a much higher ROI too. It's much quicker to get an ROI on an inbound versus an outbound channel, because outbound channel, you have the expense of sales or a channel partner for those of you who are more enterprising. And then when you have to pay out these commissions to people, you're losing money off of that transaction. Whereas an inbound lead, they're qualified before they get to you. They've already passed that prospecting stage. They're ready to buy from your business. And so you have a much higher conversion ratio, much lower cost of customer acquisition. Very, very important to focus on those. Now, when it comes to inbound strategies, Adam, I know you said you're more of an ops guy. What type of strategies do you typically recommend to businesses at different stages of the game? I typically view it in like the 3 steps of you are a concept startup, you're a small business, and then you're more mid-sized enterprise. So maybe to address all of those audiences, what do you think in terms of inbound strategies can be most effective?
Yeah, so like number one is getting all of your directories everywhere where you're located, where you have a phone number, an address, an email address. All that stuff should align across everything, right? And that there's huge value in that, so that people, so if they search your address on Google, they search your phone number on Google, you're showing up in those search results for those things a lot higher. Leveraging, and making sure you own all of your listings for like Yelp and Bing and Google My Business, like that. Those foundational things will take you really, really far, and that's where small businesses, really startups and small businesses, really should be starting. Enterprises, they usually are far beyond that point of that stuff, but small businesses, we see it all the time that's where they miss. You go and look at their directory listings, and they have like 10 different versions of their address on there, and so it makes it hard to find. It also, Google looks at that and will rank you lower because all of that stuff doesn't match, because it can't match those listings together as well. So,
and also, that's a good opportunity to talk about the knowledge panel. So how does Google even know what's right and what info relates to your business?
So everything starts off with Google My Business and filling that out completely. And then Google compares everything else that it searches to that Google My Business listing. And that's where that ranking starts from, is building that consistency. So if you have not owned your Google My Business page and filled out everything completely with descriptions of your services and the whole 9, stop what you're doing after the show, of course. Stop what you're doing and go do that, because that will make a world of difference in being found.
So let's talk about Google My Business a little bit, because, and just to give a little plug for myself here, A3 Innovation, we're a Google Cloud partner for G Suite, Google Voice, and Google for Education. We do a lot in the realm of building different technologies using Google Cloud Platform, and also educating and empowering other business owners on how to leverage these products most effectively. So Google My Business is a very, very key strategy when it comes to especially local growth, because the near me keyword is huge. I mean, how many of you guys out there in the audience have searched for something, quote unquote, near me recently? Well, how does the internet know what near me is? It's going to compare your location on your device to a map of locations that it knows. The only way that Google knows that you have a location, guess what? Google My Business. It puts you on the knowledge panel, literally. The knowledge panel. That's Google's words, not mine. So you get on the knowledge panel, you get on the map, and people can now find you with those near me keywords. So local traffic, y'all got no excuse for not having a verified listing. And don't even give me that I don't have an address excuse either, because you got service areas. Don't come with me with that. No excuses. Y'all can do better than that. It's so effective to do. And then you can do things like listing your products and getting them on Google Shopping. We're not all SEO experts that understand XML schema markups. I don't expect you to be able to talk to me about the product markup language that you submit to get something on Google My Shopping, and that's okay, but you can add your products on your Google My Business profile.
Yep.
And you know what that does? It puts it on Google Shopping. So now when we're talking about that wonderful Joe Exotic t-shirt that's on your website that is getting indexed and crawled, and for those tech people out there, recrawl your freaking site map so that the updates actually propagate in the search engine, whatever. So putting it on Google My Business as well with that product, you're now going to have 2 avenues in which your product is going to be able to show up on organic shopping searches. Doing that little thing, it all starts with that Google My Business, and now you're on the map. Now your products are showing up online. Now you can start to build that presence. Now you've got a knowledge panel, a dedicated base of information about your business that Google is going to use and compare to Yelp and compare to Home Advisor and compare to Facebook and LinkedIn and everything else. Yeah. I can get on a soapbox about this stuff. So
me too, because so many businesses are missing it. Google My Business is huge. All the other directories are super important and depends on your industry. But it can be a lot of work to get all of those aligned. Just going to put that disclaimer out there. So it does take time to do that. And I also want to put the caveat on it. Don't expect this to change the world tomorrow just because you did it today.
Unless you want to pay for it. That's the only way on the internet if you're going to make a difference quickly. It is pay to play. You throw enough ad money at it and you can appear overnight looking at you, Quibi. But if you don't want to do that and you want to do it organically, then it's going to take time.
Yeah.
So much tech humor. Those of you guys who get it, and thanks. I'm so glad I'm surrounded by 3 similar nerds. Because man, we're having a lot of fun over here. And some awesome comments too. I just wanted to throw. So okay, just one. Can I answer one?
That's what I'm saying. Stop the show. Say hello.
Yes, thank you.
Answer comments. Y'all are in your tech bubble over here.
Yeah, let me just step down off of my soapbox.
Where's my popcorn?
Get back in my.
I can't help it. I love it so much.
When you get to tech, man, like it's just something that passion makes that difference, and that's why I'm so glad that we have you with us, Adam, because I can tell you're one of those passionate people. And when you are passionate about tech, the difference that it can make is in the millions for a business. Revenue is made in folds online. But that aside, we've had some absolute fire coming through from the audience. Thank you guys for all being so kind with your interactions. Talking about some great killer topics down here. We got a couple of cool people joining us, including Aslam Mohammed saying hi on the chat here in LinkedIn. Hey man, how's it going? Hope you're having a wonderful day today. We've got Cher Jones. I saw her in there. Yep, Cher says, now I have homework. Yes, you do, Cher. Come back and let us know that it's done. That's what we love to do, man. Like just tech reviews. We'll start doing this for you guys, get you all optimized eventually. So hey, Cher, how's it going? Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Kevin McDowell jumping in, and hey, Chris Dickman jumping in as well. Hey, Chris, hope you're having a great day. Kevin's had some really cool comments, and Charlie's had some interesting questions that I wanted to answer for him. So Charlie asked what a service area is. And Kevin kind of explained it, but to give you like the actual example of how Google understands it is the service area is just how you define the area that you service. You add the locations, whether it be cities, whether it be counties, whether it be a state, a country, a metropolis. You can add so many different ways of actually doing it, and that's going to define the map, the literal map of the area that you serve. So when somebody searches your business, let's say you're just Charlie Powers, Emperor of the World, somebody searches that and your service area is all of Ohio, they're going to see that map of Ohio because that's the area that you actually have services in, and then you'll also qualify for those near me searches. So that's what a service area is. Adam, I want your thoughts on service area versus brick and mortars. So when you're looking at service area optimization, how do you approach it?
So I think it depends on the business. Lately, we've been on a kick with roofers. So roofers tend to service.
Hey, I'm working with a roofer right now. No way. That's dope, man.
Well, let me know, man. We need to talk about that.
Yeah, for sure.
But like we've been working with a lot of roofers, and so their service areas tend to be really small. So we tend to go by cities for them most commonly, and we build our SEO strategy around cities that they service as opposed to a full service area. However, I think you have to look at your business model, right? If you service like the greater Atlanta area, like set up a service area. Like seriously, set up a service area. That's a huge amount of space that you cover. But if you are just little mom and pop roofer that only handles like 3 or 4 cities, directly around you. Set it up by the cities. I think there's a little bit more local value to setting it up by the cities, and it's easier from a content standpoint to tie those cities into your content, which will help you rank a little bit better as well. So that's
I would also, I completely agree with all of those things. And to expand on that idea of the cities, I think it's important to note that you don't be greedy with it. You don't need to go too far, just because you're limited in how far you can travel. And you can have your service area as the whole United States, literally, if you want, but that's not going to actually get the qualified local traffic that you're after, as opposed to setting a very defined and distinct service area of just these cities. Because people are looking for roofers in Cincinnati, we want you to come up for being a roofer in Cincinnati, in the service area of Cincinnati, not just the United States. So the more specific that you are, the more specific results that you're going to get, because you get what you ask for. And these service areas are just applicable to businesses without a physical brick and mortar location. Yep. If you do have a brick and mortar location, then you actually set up that you visit customers outside of that. So you can set up a service area around that as well, but you'll have that physical location to point to a spot on the map. And I'm sure all of you guys are wondering about now, but wait a minute, I have multiple locations. I've got 3 locations. Do I need a profile for all of them? And how do I incorporate service areas? Well, imaginary person, I'm glad you asked. Adam, do you want to start off on this? And then I can always expand on it for anything else.
Yeah, so, I'm a proponent of actually setting up separate profiles for each location, because I think you get a better value overall in the rankings for it. I have heard mixed feelings on this, but in our experience, multiple locations, setting up a separate profile for each location seems to yield the best results. And then the other thing that's really nice, if those locations are close to each other, you can actually set your service areas around those locations so that they don't impede on each other. So store A is not trying to steal store B's traffic.
Right.
So that's the way I always look at approaching it when we look at multiple locations. So
I do the same thing. Multiple location businesses, it depends on what type of business too. Like doctors, for example, are typically a specific instance in which they're going to have a small distinguisher between offices. So generally your primary physician is going to be the name. Like doctors, because physician names are so popular as a search, we typically set up a Google My Business profile for each doctor individually, even to optimize their name on searches. And then when it comes to setting up individual locations, this is only if you have multiple physical locations. Please do not, I am begging you, do not set 50 locations up in a 20-mile radius just because you can. I know you can, but it's stupid. You're not getting traffic from it. It's not actually pushing your goal forward. If I do a search, and let's say magically, because this won't happen, but magically, every single one of your locations show up, and I've got 6 of you in the results. You're not freaking McDonald's. I'm not fooled. I know you're just spamming us, and you really want to try and make me believe that you're going to keep up with all of those profiles. That person that's setting you up those 50 profiles is not doing it all themselves, and they are not going to manage all of them. It is not going to be an effective strategy. It's not authentic, and it's not doing you any good. And if you doubt me, we can put the numbers behind it, because we have all of those all day. I love numbers. Make sure that you are being specific in what you ask for. Those service areas are important, and your brick and mortar locations are important, because that's going to give you overlap. Seeing 2 locations in one county, that's great. That's awesome. That's a sign of growth. But seeing 8 of them, that's a problem. Unless you actually have them to back it up with different phone numbers, make them distinct, make them unique. If there's not uniqueness to them, they don't exist. Another little soapbox about Google My Business. Man, I've seen a lot of stupid things that I just I'm like, guys, please don't do this. Do not get tricked. It's just frustrating.
Yeah, no, it is. And the small businesses are by far, not picking on you small business owners, but you are the worst offenders of all of this.
Why? And it's because they need it the worst, they need the help so much.
Yep. So, in my mind, and it's not just because I run a digital marketing agency. in my mind, getting your business set up on the internet to be seen should be something that is a priority in your business. Whether you're running ad spend and all those other things, whether you're doing monthly SEO, there's definitely advantages to all the other stuff that goes with it. But starting with building that foundation and making sure that you're found in directories, that you have your Google set up, you have Yelp set up, you have your social profiles all set up and at least tied to your web page. Starting there will build so much credibility and visibility in your business just in itself. And so if you do nothing else, please, as small business owners, go get that done.
And if you need help,
talk
to a tech guy. And if they charge you for it, ask me what it's about. Because one thing that I hate to see is tech people taking advantage of small businesses, not giving them the information that they need, not trying to work with them on actually growing and implementing meaningful strategies in their organization, and then just trying to rip them off or making these egregious claims. If you are trying to work with a tech company that can't back up what they're saying with numbers, you're not working with a tech company, because anybody in tech knows that the biggest important thing that we have is our data. Yep. So keep that in mind. And you've got people like Adam, don't want to speak for you here, but I hope that you are this way. And myself, I definitely am. We're very passionate about what we do. We're very fiercely protective over the clients that we serve and the difference that we make using technology. And when you get people like that, you know that you can actually work with them in a collaborative effort. They should answer your questions. They should make you feel like you're important. They should make you feel like you understand everything you want to understand. Not just what you understand now, but if you want to understand something, if you have a question on something, they should be able to explain it. They should be able to give you the benefit of it. It's a very, very important thing to your business. And it's important to take that seriously and to understand there's a lot of bad tech people out there, unfortunately. I hate it. Not everybody's like that. But you know the good ones when you find them, and you're going to get that sense of security, and you know that they know what they're doing, and it makes all the difference.
That way. I was going to say, we spend a little bit of time in the roofing forums on Facebook, because we work with a lot of those clients, and the about section or the admin posts is almost all of them say, if you're a marketing or SEO person and you sell to anybody, you're out there very anti-marketing people. And unfortunately, it's because what you were just talking about. There's so many people out there that are just, they know enough to be dangerous, and they are just taking advantage of people to make a quick buck. So, and
ask them about their experience too. Ask them how long they've been doing it, because there's way too many courses out on Facebook or 100 other places. How to start your career as a web designer in 2 days flat. How to get into digital marketing and build a recurring income while sitting on your ass at home. And these people are not passionate about helping you succeed. No. They don't know how this is going to help your freaking business. They just know that some 24-year-old online was giving them a step-by-step guide that they followed, and now it's working. Your business is much too important to put in the hands of somebody with 2 weeks and a half-eaten blueberry of experience. Not worth it.
Well done.
Yes, I agree, and don't fall for the $300 webpage trick either, because
cheaper is not better.
You can go yourself for about $15, $20 for a web builder that will do exactly what they just did for you for way more money.
Yeah,
so
it's bad. It is like cars. Sorry, man, we're at 5:15. Oh boy. Okay, take it from me, Lee. Sorry about that.
No. I just want to make sure we've got a real quick question. Charlie Power says, as an artist who sells physical products online through Printful, should I make my service areas places where there are lots of art collectors or similar instead of just the whole U.S.?
You can go with either approach. We work with example for a cosmetics company that sells to the US and to the UK primarily. Because they're a very well-known brand, we only put one location for them with the service area of the United States. If you know very specifically that you have a dedicated clientele in an area where the demand is high, there is nothing wrong with setting up a location in that area, located in that city, and around that area. But don't go crazy with it, is what I would say. You know, make sure that you're being measurable with it, adding all of your stuff. It's more important for you to have a well-optimized singular profile with your products than it is for you to have 100 of them. Adam, what do you think?
No, I agree with that wholeheartedly. You know, we look at strategies like we've been evaluating our own internal strategy, and we obviously we market to the entire United States and Canada for our clients, and you know, it's the big thing that we look at is we target specific areas only because we know that they're hotspots for the industries that we want to be in. Beyond that, you know, most of our service pages, most of our content is geared really towards the whole United States, and we're set up as the whole United States. So I think there's advantage there. I would spend more time focusing on your SEO to be found than I would on, you know, trying to pinpoint locations. I think there's better value there for the time that you would spend.
And depending on where you're at in your business and its stages of growth, you might spend more on ad spend trying to get your actual product pushed than you will on SEO and trying to be visible in the long term. Because SEO is a slow and long-term growth process for getting dedicated organic traffic. But if you're paying for ad spend, then you're working on getting your product in front of people. And since you already know those areas where people are more likely to buy, maybe that's an avenue that you go down that would be very successful.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good call out. Ad spend, Google, you know, AdWords, or, you know, Facebook marketing as well. I think the Facebook marketing posts are pretty good as long as you're targeted with it.
Very targeted. Make sure you're very targeted. We were in a tech war for a very well-known national brand, and the entire reason why we were more effective was because we were much more targeted with our advertisements. We had a third of the ad spend, and we had 10 times the impression rate. Mm-hmm. So that's all about where you spend your money on and what's going to make it most effective.
Yep. Got to know where your people are at and who they are and what they're going to spend on.
And I'm so depressed about this, but we are at 5:18, so we're going to have to move on to final thoughts here. You guys know the deal, and thank you for talking techie with me for a while. Adam, I haven't had the pleasure of having somebody who knew what the hell they were talking about on here before. I have, but we haven't gotten into these conversations, so thank you very much for being with us today. Awesome. You guys know the drill. You got 30 seconds, a minute and a half, or however the hell long you want, to talk about what's on your mind for the day and what you would like to leave the audience with on this fine Tuesday afternoon. Adam, as our esteemed guest, we will start with you, sir, and then move over to Matthew. Here you are.
All right. So my final thoughts today is really I want to jump back into the culture stuff because I'm super passionate about that. Think about, as you are communicating with your teams, how you can build those personal connections with them, whether it be setting up a team meeting just to talk about what's going on in personal lives, having those emails that are, you know, that start with, hey, how's it going? Or how can I help you be better today? Something along those lines. And really, you know, do your due diligence to do a wellness check on the people on your team, the people that you're working with, your clients as well. If you have clients, spend time on that, because right now there is huge amount of value in building that culture and building those relationships with those people. So that is my final thoughts on let's, you know, just really focus on connecting with people.
Hey, thank you so much, Adam. And those were terrific, or fire final thoughts, as we might say. Matthew, you're on the clock.
Ooh. All right. So my final thoughts for today, I want to bring it back to people. Adam kind of stole my final thoughts, so I'll get on him for that after the show. No, I'm just kidding. Bringing it back to people and the world right now. There are problems everywhere. Problems abound everywhere. From personal problems, community problems, global problems, state problems, country problems. And so it can be a little overwhelming. Some people are still in that shock stage right now. Take a deep breath. Take a look around. Some of those problems you can do something about. Figure out which ones they are and start doing something about them. They don't have to be giant global problems. They don't have to be your own personal problems. Just help somebody. Make a problem go away today. Do that. And if we can all do that and take a look around and make an action on something that's actionable for us, but might not be actionable for the person who's experiencing that problem, then that's how we get through all of these kind of things faster. And we're not even just talking COVID. Like, COVID is a thing. We're all kind of getting to the point where we're used to it. It's around. We're in quarantine. But now we have these other problems. How do we market? How do we pivot? How do I work remotely? How do I find a job remotely? How do I do any of these things from my house? So if you have an answer for somebody, help somebody out, reach out, fix a problem today. Fix your screen door, rake the yard, do something to help somebody out today.
Thank you, guys. I love how supportive we all are on Final Thoughts. It's like my favorite. Lee, would you rather me just do my final thoughts and then shut up and let you have the stage to say all the things that you've been waiting to say?
Dealer's
Or
choice, my friend.
Okay, then I'll do that because I feel like I just haven't given Lee a chance to talk with all my tech ramblings.
Hey,
I just get so excited about it.
It's nice to take a step back every once in a while, you know?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And speaking of taking a step back, hey, guess who's back? What's up, friends? So thank you first and foremost to Adam and Matthew for being here today. Very much appreciate you guys and all of you wonderful people out in the audience who are watching this either live or on recording. Y'all are awesome. We really appreciate all the interactivity and all the support that we've been able to give each other. It's been really cool. So my final thoughts are pretty much in line with what everybody else has been saying. And what I'll say pretty much every day is just be a better person today than you were yesterday. And if we've been doing this for a minute, or if we didn't do it yesterday and we do it today, think about the difference that it could make. No matter how small it is, there is no action too small to change the world. There are only actions that change the world. So if you're doing these actions, you are actively contributing to the change that you want to see in the world. And that's the only way that you're going to be able to lead change and to make a difference. Right now, we have an opportunity to be there for our loved ones, for our friends, to our family, to our extended family, to people we've never even met. You know, we have a very unique opportunity to be decent human beings and to support each other during these times. So make sure that you're using it to your advantage and using it for long-term growth and to focus on yourself, focusing on inward of how you can improve your outward. Because what is inside of you is what's going to come out in your everyday actions. So focus on improving yourself, focus on loving and cherishing and taking care of those other people and doing something nice for them. You'll be just fine. We'll get through this together. And for those of you who have somebody, don't have somebody, wherever you may be, just know that there are people out there, much like myself, who are there for you if you ever need anything. That's my final thoughts.
Beautiful.
All right. Well done, Alex. All right, and nice job with the warm and fuzzies. It was it's such a good feeling for people to come here and know that they have a safe place until I do my final thought and then I just rave and
exactly.
So good job on keeping the chill. So as you guys are acclimating, for those of you who are building your business, the things that we're talking about here: content, SEO, strategy. Those are things that you can either do on your own for years and years, like probably most of us have, and you learn from your mistakes and you iteratively build, which is the solid foundational way to do it. But I realize that a lot of people have years to build this. They need to build businesses now. So unfortunately, that means there's a load of chuckleheads who are out there who are all too willing to teach you how to do it. And as you guys were discussing before, they may not necessarily know what they're doing. I recommend before you get into any course, coaching package, anything like that, that you reach out and have a conversation with the person behind it, because anybody can talk a good line of crap, because all you have to do is steal a copywriting template, fill in a few details, pose in front of your rented Maserati, and then suddenly you're a freaking expert. But actually have a conversation, because you'll see really quickly whether they walk the talk or whether they're like a lot of them are, and it's like their last brain cell forgot to turn the light out before it left. They just have nothing to offer beyond just the hype. And so you really want to get in there and dig and have a conversation. If they get defensive about it or they don't want to talk, then they're probably not the right person to teach you. So just keep that in mind as you're going forward. That choose your mentors wisely and make sure you poke them with a stick a few times. Make sure that they're going to be able to take it, because we need real leaders who really know what the heck they're talking about. Not more of these chuckleheads who are like, I'm an expert because I took a certification course last week.
That's like standing up and saying you're the real Slim Shady.
Mm-hmm.
Before the announcement. Like, no. You weren't asked to stand up if you were the real Slim Shady. You just stood up and said you're the real freaking Slim Shady. The real ass Slim Shady don't have to stand up. He's the one singing the damn song, guys. Come on.
That's right.
I love what Lee said with his final thoughts, especially with the vetting, the people who are teaching you this kind of stuff. No matter how much of a hurry you are in, you need to shop around and kind of delve into it. Infinity Streamers, by the time we launch, will have gone from concept and idea in my brain to launch in 6 weeks. So I definitely understand that time crunch. I went through 12 tech guys before I met Alex, and every one of them told me I was insane. Every one of them told me I would need Elon Musk kind of money to like pull this situation off. And when you find someone that's right for your project, you will know it. One conversation with Alex, and he was, your stuff is completely possible. We can make this happen. I'm excited for the project. And I wanted to toss out a quick thank you to all three of these gentlemen. Ha! I did it right.
Hey, leading the way on points.
We're working on it.
I give up. I point the wrong direction every time. I'm just going to go that way.
Hey,
there you go.
The old Bugs Bunny.
Wow.
But seriously, I want to thank all three of these gentlemen for being involved with the Infinity Streamers project. Lee Rowley is putting this show on to the platform, and I'm very happy and very excited to have him involved. I am super excited to get Alex McDowell broke off into his tech show. I will never miss an episode.
Oh, boy, that's a lot of pressure, man.
What's that, Adam or Alex?
That's a lot of pressure, man.
I know I'm putting a lot on you, but I can't wait, man. The tech show would just be so good. I could listen to it all day long. And then Adam is going to help businesses with their SEO and their marketing and their company culture and that kind of flavor to his show. So thank you, all three of you gentlemen, for helping make this literal dream come true for me.
Thanks for dreaming the dream, brother.
Thanks.
It's not possible without you.
All right, guys. Well, we are actually 10 minutes over here, so let's go ahead and wrap this up unless anybody else has anything. I'll even save the quotably for tomorrow because I don't have time to get into that. So.
Okay. We'll read tomorrow with the quotably.
Yeah, but I like to keep people waiting, so it's that works out. So
tune in tomorrow at 4:20 p.m. Eastern for the quotably.
Yes.
Show starts at 4:15.
That's right. It's actually was left
really
over from yesterday, so I'm kicking it down the road another day.
It's like a tin can at this point, Lee.
It is. All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Get out of here. We will be back here tomorrow. You know what time, you know where, for another Bow Tie Up Live. Until then, be present and be well.
See you guys later.